First thing to mention is the truckers versus the thief in the night. That is Justin Trudeau and his men, his merry men, who are just not.
No, it's the sheriff of Nottingham.
Yeah, sheriff is not the merry men.
The merry men are
out
the truckers,
banging their clubs together with gasoline. So
honk honk.
I thought we'd just give an update here and just look at, quite frankly, just the theft that is going on. So the first thing here is a tweet from Lauren Chen with a post there from the Globe and Mail, verified checkmark. The alt-right has weaponized freedom to undermine democracy. This is the level of opposition to the truckers at this point.
Well, maybe if you didn't have an authoritarian democracy, freedom couldn't undermine it.
Where's the alt-right in all this as well?
Oh, yeah,
It's
obviously.
just, again, pointless smears. But we're going to undermine democracy by protesting.
Yeah, but that implies that democracy has become, honestly, quite Rousseauian and totalitarian. In a video that I'll discuss later on, we'll do a book club on Rousseau soon, because this is essentially the sort of authoritarian model of democracy.
Exactly. There is no freedom in our democracy.
No, you have to adhere to the general will, and the general will is discovered by the vote. And as soon as the vote has been passed, if you, like, for example, Trudeau is elected, therefore Trudeau now gets to essentially represent the general will.
Yeah. And if we move on, we can also see Trudeau's response to this, which is to say that I can understand frustrations with mandates, but mandates are the way to avoid further restrictions.
But the mandates are restrictions.
Yes, let's go to the next one. And Lauren Chen making exactly that point. Justin, you're a retard. Mandates are restrictions. Colossal Q-tip. Absolute bloody moron.
I watched this video, and the way he's acting, I want to know what he is bowing to. Like, whose will is he bowing to here? Because like the entire country's up in arms, being like, no, look, we want no more mandates. Like, and just well, we just have to. We just have to. Okay, well, what God says you have to? You know, and the answer is, of course, Klaus Schwab.
I don't know who it was, but someone made the point quite succinctly as well, which is you might wonder, or at least a little bit wonder, like, why the hell is he siding with the people in favor of mandates and all this?
Why is he siding with the World Economic Forum?
Well, because what's going on? I mean, you've got these rural types who have turned up in the cosmopolitan cities, the capital there, honking their horns, honkety honk. And, well, who are his supporters? Who is he going to side to out of those two factions? Well, it's going to be the cosmopolitans to vote for him, surely.
Of course.
So it's also that aspect. What's he going to do? Side with the truckers? Of course not. He doesn't represent them in the slightest. Never will. But let's move forward because, of course, mandates. The mandates are the thing against restrictions. But what if we mandate freedom?
I mean, there is an argument from the Rousseauian perspective that they will force them to be free.
So you can see here, this is Florida Man's press secretary, Christina, saying here, mandating choice. There's an article from the Washington Post saying the ACLU challenges Youngkin's order to mandate choice on school masks.
What's wrong with that?
Mandating choice.
As in being free.
There is no mandate there.
Yeah.
It's literally up to you.
It's in fact a negative freedom, as in you're not going to simply take away the choice. The choice is there.
Choice is yours.
And then the choice is taken away. You don't mandate the choice.
Anyway, when we go to the next one, we can also see the truckers were attacked. This story was.
But it is interesting. Just sorry to go back to the proofs. It's interesting. That's the way they think, isn't it? It's like Youngkin's like, no, we're going to have some choice here. It's like, he's mandating it. No, he's not mandating. That's the point. You know, but you can't think outside of that. Oh, well, he's in power, therefore he's imposing this. It's like, or you could be not imposing and preventing restriction.
So Al-Qaeda talk about the West. It's like the mandating of vice and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay. If we go to the next one, there was that story about the attack on the truckers as well. Some car came in and just attacked some people.
Yep.
And then, well, the guy driving the car, not the car itself, not making the mistake there that people did with the Christmas parade. And as you can see here, Andy No listing that, well, the suspect who allegedly rammed the Freedom Convoy protests and tried to escape in Winnipeg has been identified as an Antifa member.
David Zegarak.
He's a leader in the Antifa punk scene and was accused of grooming and raping a young girl.
Well, that's how you become a leader in the Antifa punk scene.
Can I get in every single time?
Literally, you can't become an Antifa leader without being a pedo.
How else was he going to get there?
Yeah.
So let's move on. We can also see, I saw a bunch of people responding to
I
Andy.
love it. Once again, fire into a crowd of Antifa, hit a bunch of pedos.
Yeah.
Well, every time.
Antifa turn up. Who is he? Probably a pedo. Yeah. So some people were responding to this, some defenders of the Antifa guy here, saying that, well, what about this trend of convoy protesters attempting to set fire to residential buildings?
Oh my God, they're Black Lives Matter now, are they?
Yeah, so
are we complaining about this? Didn't this happen to the mayor of Portland?
Yes.
Right. So he must have a problem with the mayor of Ottawa.
You also remember it wasn't just him. It was Starbucks. I remember we played the footage, and above it, like maybe 100 families. Yep. And the Antifa guys was throwing Molotov cocktails into the Starbucks because, you know, fire doesn't rise. And, just tried to kill loads of people, frankly. And, of course, maybe the truckers are doing this. Maybe this is why they're big and bad and it's a blind spot we just haven't seen because of our bias.
Yeah, so they're exactly as bad as Antifa and Black Lives Matter, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is why everyone hates them. They're just burning down buildings left, right, and center. Let's go to the next link because I investigated that guy's thread, and here's an image of the suspect.
That looks like a trucker to me.
A 20-something with pink hair.
Definitely a trucker.
Yep, he's a proper right-wing trucker type.
Definitely a rootless cosmopolitan trucker.
Absolutely. Also, the author of this post, who's alleging that these guys were truckers, has he, him in his bio, so opinion disregarded. Moving on. So we go to the next thing, which is just as I mentioned, the theft. And this is really effed up, frankly. And you can see here Ezra Levant reporting that you have GoFundMe putting out their statement saying why they decided to just steal the money from people who donate.
Which they backtracked on very quickly because that was illegal.
GoFundMe said, GoFundMe supports peaceful protests. You raise money for BLM, shut up. And we believe that was the intention of the Freedom Convoy 2022 fundraiser when it was first created. We have now had evidence from law enforcement that the previously peaceful demonstration has become an occupation.
Yeah, it was the mayor of Ottawa. We covered this in the podcast when you were real.
But I just love how he says the police reports of violence and other unlawful activity are taking place. But it's just like, the government tyranny will make the protest turn into an occupation. But as for the unlawful aspects, I mean, like the example given, 20-something with pink hair, not really convinced. But then, of course, they went to, what is it, Give, Send, Go? Give, Send, Go? Sorry, weird name. So,
yeah. Well, it marks itself specifically as a Christian fundraising site.
Yeah, and if we go to the next link, we can see some people making the point as well with GoFundMe, the fact that they banned the Canadian truckers, Carl Rittenhouse's legal defense. Remember how he was banned from Facebook and everything else as well?
Yeah, even though he did nothing wrong.
Mass murderer.
Of black people.
That's how it was reported within Facebook's own moderation teams. The interview with
Carl Rittenhouse, the human wood chipper.
Yeah. From Ryan Hartwig telling us that he was given as a moderator of Facebook, saying, no, Carl Rittenhouse is a mass murderer, delete everything supporting him. And it just turned out to be complete bollocks.
No, yeah,
and everyone just moves on.
Yeah.
The conservative students who were harassed at ACU and parents targeted in Loudoun County schools. So they just built their own, and of course...
But that's interesting, isn't it? It's all people, who are against the sort of administrative narrative, the gated administrative narrative of the global elites, and all people who did absolutely nothing wrong.
Yeah. All people who were targeted by left-wing organizations and did nothing wrong, verifiably, every single time. Except maybe the Canadian truckers are still ongoing. So
indeterminate, we'll call that one.
Yeah. If we go to the next one, we can see the Canadian government also decided to try and shut down the Give, Send, Go.
Oh, did they?
Fundraiser.
Right, I haven't heard this.
Yeah. So this guy says here, and we'll read the full quote from the government. Today, the Attorney General brought an application in the Superior Court of Justice for an order pursuant to Section 490.8 of the Criminal Code, prohibiting any person from deposing of or otherwise dealing with in any manner whatsoever any and all monetary donations made through the Freedom Convoy 2022 and Adopt a Trucker campaign pages on the Give, Send, Go online fundraising platform. This afternoon, the order was issued. It binds any and all parties with possession or control over these donations.
But what crime are they being accused of?
They're just criminals?
Lawful protest.
No, they're criminals for protesting.
I mean, they're not okay. So protest is now not a part of Canadian democracy.
No, at least not approved protest
by the regime. Yeah.
Yeah. You can burn stuff down still. You can tear down statues of Queen Victoria.
Yeah,
no problem with that.
Burn down churches.
You honk a horn, going to jail.
Did you see? You know that the justification for burning down churches was the mass graves that they didn't find a single body in.
No,
it's all lies.
Yeah,
it's all lies.
Whereas the mask mandates and the vaccine mandates, not lies.
No.
Verifiable. Yeah. And so the Canadian government, or at least the Attorney General, as you can see here, is saying, well, anyone who has any money in regards to this needs to give it up. You can't do that. Not in Canada, you don't.
I mean, how is this not just raw, naked, unvarnished tyranny? This is the sort of thing I'd expect Saddam Hussein's government to do.
Yeah. I mean, we've compared Trudeau to Saddam Hussein quite a lot, with him, the little red guy living underneath his little barricade and hiding from the honks. But just issuing a proclamation was just like, well, anyone who has any money for these people, can't do it. Not allowed. Illegal.
This is gangsterism.
Just write some bollocks. Just say section blah, 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 and that'll be totally the case. Give, Send, Go have told them to go F themselves, though.
Oh, really?
Which is really funny.
Absolutely based.
I don't know where they're from. I assume the United States.
They're American, yeah.
So they're just like, Lamau, who cares?
Come charge us.
Justin Trudeau's like, you need to give us the money. And it's just like, make me. So, they say in here, Give, Send, Go wrote, quote, know this! Exclamation point.
I love that opening.
Canada has absolutely zero jurisdiction over how we manage our funds here at Give, Send, Go. All funds for every campaign on GiveSendGo flow directly to the recipients of those campaigns, not least of which is the Freedom Convoy campaign.
It's like Andrew Torber is running GiveSendGo.
Know this! Hiddly.
That's excellent.
Jesus is king.
That's exactly the kind of energy that I want to see on the right these days.
Yeah, but there's also a dire warning, because I don't believe that this kind of gangster tactics, frankly, from the Canadian government won't just stop at the Canadian border at some point. The cash really is king. I mean, if you want to go and support these people, physical cash.
Yeah, give them money.
But also...
are we covering the fuel thing? Or do we do that?
I hadn't heard about that.
Oh, right.
Oh, you mean about the gas canisters?
Yeah. As in the... Oh, right, okay.
Well, we'll just say it now, which is that they had the gas canisters and then said, you can't bring gas to the
it's
truckers.
illegal to bring fuel to the truck. And it's like, why?
There was also
under what rules?
Some wood that they prepared because, it's minus 20 and I want to burn the wood and keep warm. Police turned up and took the wood. Like...
But I heard that the police had at some point given it back after essentially like lines and lines of people just started bringing gas. Like there were loads of videos around. It was just literally
There's
dozens.
Nothing they can do.
Yeah, exactly. What you can do, arrest everyone.
You don't have the officers to try and do this.
Exactly. And so it's like, okay, well that collapsed.
Beautiful moments in human history, frankly.
It is, but the point is, it goes to show, look, all you have to do is just say, no, we're going to do it anyway, and I guess you can try and arrest us, but look how many of us there are. It really is that meme of everyone just standing up and the politician falling off the edge of the cliff.
Yeah.
It's really that.
But the point with the cash is king, I really want to focus on.
Oh, it's totally true.
It's really something that we don't pay enough attention to. But the fact that especially in the COVID era, there is a continued push to make cash verboten, something you can't use. Well, then that is something we deeply need to defend because no other system is safe. I mean, you can talk about Bitcoin and all the rest of it, don't get me wrong, but come on, how many people use it, frankly, compared to the world?
I just don't really understand how Bitcoin can really be used as a medium of exchange because the value is constantly fluctuating.
We won't get into the whole thing, but it's just, frankly...
Someone enlighten me.
Cash works, it works so well that it functions. It just works, as Todd Howard would say, in this situation. Yeah. So therefore, I think it is also something we should keep in mind. If we go to the next link, we can also see that apparently on GiveSendGo, they've raised $8 million. So they had, 9 million, 10 million?
They had 10 million on GoFundMe.
And now they've already got 8 million on GiveSendGo.
GoFundMe, I suppose, had to... I noticed that Peter Sweden's been unverified.
Oh, yeah.
That's weird.
He used to have a verification tag.
It's no longer Peter Sweden. It's an imposter, says Twitter.
It's Peter Norway. They've got him now.
Yeah, checkmate. Okay, sorry, a bit of a side there, but that was weird.
Yeah, I didn't notice that either.
Yeah.
Strange.
Okay, but anyway, good. They've raised another 8 million to give to the truckers, so this is going to go on literally for like another 5 years. Excellent.
God bless. You can issue as many threats as you want for the Canadian government. GiveSendGo just like, well, Jesus is king. Jesus is king. What are you going to do? And of course, in response, Trudeau is on suicide watch. He's tried to steal the money. Didn't work. So what's he doing? Well, here we have some fake news about what he might be doing. So the Babylon Bee here saying Trudeau orders all the geese rounded up and shot for honking in solidarity with the truckers. I can only imagine. But
tomorrow's headlines today.
This is obviously a meme, but it's not really too far away some of the crap that he did try to do. So if we continue, we go to the next one. This is the funniest thing. Police called tow trucks to haul the trucks away. The tow trucks arrived. The tow trucks parked and joined the truckers.
Oh, right. And that's in addition to the other ones who refused because they all had COVID.
And all the farmers who turned up as well. Yeah. It's just like, okay, the people with all the heavy machinery are on one side.
Yes.
The mechanical muscles of the nation.
It's what you might call class consciousness.
But if we go to the next one, we can also see the military were apparently contacted for, I don't know, shooting the truckers to death.
Oh, right. Yeah, okay.
And as you can see here, the military told Ottawa to find someone else to evict the truckers, as the headline says. It's just like, right, so we called the tow truckers, they all defected. So we called the army just laughed in our face. Well, who have you got left?
Well, if the army aren't going to do what the government is saying, I mean, what power do they have? Because that's the power of the government, ultimately, is that the army will enforce it by force. And if they're not going to, then the government is revealed to be totally powerless.
I did see one of the funniest responses. I didn't load it up. It was some woman saying, what we need to do is go down, siphon all the fuel out, arrest all the truckers, and then move the trucks.
Go on, then.
You've just siphoned all the fuel out. You've already arrested everyone who can drive a truck.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
No one else is prepared to actually engage in any of those other things. What now?
Yeah, but it goes to show, I mean, like the cosmopolitan types there are utterly useless.
Well, you got to understand, right? So they are utterly useless because to them, things happen, right?
Just happens.
Exactly. They put an order in on the app, they send an email, and things happen. Stuff arrives. And so they're like, oh, well, we just need to get rid of these trucks. We just need to do this. We just need to do that.
It's like, send button.
Yeah, exactly. Because things just happen. but except for when they don't just happen, and they don't understand why they don't just happen, because they don't understand that they're relying on the working classes of Canada to make those things happen in their goddamn ivory tower arrogance.
And they've got all the way to go, well, everyone's betrayed us, let's call the military. And the military are like...
Yeah, sorry, where do you think we come from?
Yeah.
We're not from Ottawa.
You want us to go down and shoot the truckers. Yeah. They deliver the army's food.
What, Frank?
Bye.
He wants me to shoot Frank and Joe. What?
Yeah. So, of course, we'll also mention quickly the victories.
We'll see him at Christmas.
They've had as well, because it is worth mentioning for their victories. So as you can see, breaking, Alberta Premier ends vaccine passport program effective midnight tonight. Poso writes here.
Another victory.
And if we go to the next one, we have another update here, which is that Saskatchewan to become first province in Canada to end COVID passport mass requirements.
Yeah, I was speaking to Dev, Short Fat Otaku, about this, because apparently there have been lots and lots of just like small victories that don't get like widely known, but there's breakages.
It's all adding up.
Yeah, exactly. There's people in the Liberal Party who are like, look, you can't really just go on like this. And Trudeau's just repeating the World Economic Forum narrative like the NPC that he is, which makes him look like an idiot. And you've got this guy called Pierre, who's the leader of the Conservatives now, who gave a really quite barnstorming speech in the Parliament where he's just like, no, freedom is on the march. You know, we're coming for you, basically. And it's like, good, that's exactly the kind of energy I want to see. You know, you're coming for him, take him down.
Be nice to have a proper reform of the Conservative Party so that Conservatives could feel proud of it in Canada.
Yeah, it would be lovely, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I'm always a bit pessimistic about, frankly, after what happened here, but we can always hope, can't we? I can see John's loaded up something here. What is this? So, this is the dumb post, the one you were telling me about before we went live. Working class, each one of those tractors costs at least $250,000. Those aren't workers, they own capital.
They're kulaks.
They own 2 pigs. Yeah. They own 2 cows.
Exactly.
Sees the means of production, no, not like this.
If you enjoyed that segment from the podcast The Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com and subscribe there to support us. We're entirely funded by our members. And you also get access to all of our great premium content, such as this long-form video, The Politics of V for Vendetta, in which John and I cover the book and the graphic novel, and the movie of V for Vendetta, and just analyze the themes that are contained within it. And once you've done that, you can go over to Getter and follow me at Carl Benjamin and tell me how much good work John had done on that podcast. Thanks a lot and see you next time.